Hello again, lovely people. It's Lucy here from The Crafty Lucy. I recently filmed my 2020 planner stack, and when I was filming it I noticed that a lot of my leather on my traveller's notebooks is looking really dry. So I've decided that I'm going to try something that I've seen on YouTube, but I've never tried myself, and that is to use coconut oil to condition my leather. So I've done this before with leather conditioner, and I've also done it with hand lotion. Both worked. I tend not to use hand lotion anymore. I'm trying to move to a much more plastic free life for myself and for my family. And what that means is that I no longer use things like hand cream. I use a lot of coconut oil and a little bit of sweet almond oil and various other things. So I thought that I would give it a go and see whether you can use coconut oil to condition leather. So this passport size traveller's notebook is actually the first traveller's notebook that I bought, and it has not been conditioned for probably 2 years, I'd say, and I've used it for most of that time, so it definitely needs it. So all I've done is I've taken everything out, and what I'm going to do now is remove all of the elastics and accessories and bits and bobs, and then I'm going to do the same for the other traveller's notebook and take everything out of the pencil case. So I will speed that bit up and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so this is the leather, freed of all the accessories and inserts and everything. So let's see how this is going to work. My plan is to use this, which is just a microfiber cloth, nothing special. I've got a little ramekin here because we use this for cooking and, well, all sorts of things really, and I don't want to dodgy packaging. I don't want to be putting the cloth back in because obviously these are not the cleanest thing in the world. So this is Coco Loco coconut oil, and it is from Aldi here in the UK. It's not expensive, but it is cold pressed and extra virgin apparently. So all I'm going to do is take a bit of this with my teaspoon and put it in there so I'm not double dipping back into my pot of coconut oil. So yeah, you might be interested to know that as well as using it in cooking, I clean eye makeup off with this stuff and use it for all sorts of skin conditions and all sorts of things really. So let's see how this is going to work. I think I'm going to start with the small one. I know that if I've got coconut oil on my fingers and I touch my notebooks, it leaves a greasy mark, but I've never kind of done that on purpose. So let's try. So all I'm going to do is just use my microfiber cloth like this over my finger and just pick up a bit that much, and let's just see what happens. So I'm assuming that a little bit is going to go a really long way, and I'm just working it into the leather. So, oh, it's going on beautifully, and you can see that the leather is darkening, which is exactly what would happen if I was using a bought leather conditioner, or in fact hand cream. It is also cleaning my traveller's notebook at the same time, which is good to know. So I don't want to use too much, but I'm kind of feeling quite confident, so I think I'm just going to start smearing it on. I'm glad I took the strings out, because I do want to get right round the holes. I thought it was very difficult to get the elastics out, and I did think about not bothering and leaving them in, but I'm actually really glad that I've done it this way. So I'm focusing, well, not focusing anywhere in particular. I guess I was going to say I'm focusing on the edges because they're going to get more wear and tear, but actually I kind of feel like this thing's in such bad nick. Everywhere is equally important. So I'm just going to keep on rubbing it in. I do have quite a lot on here. It's going to work with what I've got rather than putting any more in for now. And it does seem to be soaking in. I'm working in circular motions, but I can sort of see those circular motions, so I'm wondering whether the side to side might not be, oh, I don't know. I think I'll carry on circular for now. Okay, maybe now I do need a bit more. So I'm just going to work it into the logo here. So this is a Wanderings notebook, and you can see that it has this lovely compass logo, and yeah, see if you can see that. It's really brought it up beautifully. That is lovely. So just do this final bit on the corner, not that much. Wow, look at that. That is really lovely. So just going to make sure that I'm getting round all these holes and down the spine. Okay. What do we think? I have to say, I'm horrified by that. This is my wallet, so this lives in my bag. I handle it every day. I chuck it in the car, I chuck it in my bag, I chuck it in my other bag. Oh yeah, it goes in my pocket. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that it's dirty. So what I'm going to do now, oh no, see, is that just dirt, or is that brown dye? I don't remember that much yuck coming off the last time I did this, but I guess it was newer. This is a very interesting experiment. Okay, so I'm really happy with that. The leather feels soft and supple. I haven't done it on the suede side because why would I? But I can feel and see that it's soaking into the leather really nicely. So I'm just going to put that one aside. And this is the big one. So that was a Passport. This is a standard. So it just feels ever so slightly gritty for some reason. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe down. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to use a different bit of the cloth. And I've still got plenty here. Let's go for it. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same as I was doing before. To be honest, it feels the same. If anything, actually, I think this one is soaking it in quicker. This one was even drier, maybe. This one actually hasn't had as much use. I decided fairly early on in my Traveller's Notebook journey that I wanted A5. So I bought this guy first. Decided it was too small. Didn't know what I was going to use it for. Fairly soon after that, I bought my first A5. Loved it. Moved into it. Started using it. Started bullet journaling actually in it. In inserts. Then I went into bullet journaling in a notebook, and then I decided to put the two together and do bullet journaling in a A5 hardback notebook in a traveller's journal. Yeah, look, same situation. I'm going to use a different bit of cloth. And then I fairly soon after that went back to my passport and started using it as a wallet. And then this guy always had inserts in it, and for a while it was a kind of a gratitude journal. Then I was doing a bit of a decluttering journey, and I was journaling about that in here. For a long time it was by my bed with the intention that I would write in it when the mood took me, in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning. Morning pages, that was a thing for a bit that I was doing. But this guy never really had a defined full-time role. It was just part of my collection that I moved in and out of for various different things. But now I'm using it for work, and I'm using it for my NCT classes, and it feels like it's come home. It feels like that's what it was meant to be all along. And I'm sorry, little guy, that it took me so long to work out who you were and what you were for. But I think, you know, that's the way it is with these things, isn't it, with these covers? So I was in an A5 Filofax for years. Years and years and years, and I loved it. I was very happy. I had found planner peace, and then I moved out of my rings and into traveller's notebooks, and now I cannot imagine dealing with those bulky great big metal rings in the middle of my planner. What madness is this? And yet I'm sure there are many of you out there in YouTube land who are very happy in rings, and probably spending their Saturday nights rubbing coconut oil into your Filofaxes as well. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm run out of things to twitter on about, so I'm going to speed up the video from here, and I'll see you when it's done. Okay, so this is really interesting. This area here, where when I was doing it, I said it felt really dry. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but you can see that the leather has actually completely drunk all of that in. It's soaked that oil right in immediately. And you can see the dryness of the grain showing through. So look at that. Is the camera picking that up? Can't see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go to these areas again and give it some more, because I think I'm starting to get a feel for how thirsty this leather really is. The other one didn't seem to do this as much. I think this is just really, really, really dry leather. And do you know what? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have ever conditioned this one. I know I definitely did the other one. But I think this guy, this poor neglected traveller's notebook, has just been sat there, thirsty, for years. Wow. Okay. There's another bit there. Just there. There you go. Have some of that. I think you'll feel better. feel like I could just keep rubbing coconut oil into this guy for hours and it wouldn't be satisfied. It's really interesting. I keep looking over at this one to see if this one has any bits that are, what's that, that are like that. And no, it doesn't seem to be the case. So I'll just keep going. Okay. Look at that. It's kind of cloudy, but not necessarily in a bad way. So I'm going to let that one sit, let it soak in. This lid. And turn my attention to this guy, which does seem to be really dry as well. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's see what we can do with this one. I just wanted to say that I am really loving this. There is something very satisfying about looking after leather goods. Now, I don't know, maybe it fits in somehow with something about a slow living mentality or living with intentionality. There's something that I really enjoy about planning, about paper goods, about leather goods, fountain pens, filling, maintaining, writing with fountain pens. I feel like this, rubbing coconut oil into my leather, it fits in with that. There's something rather lovely and mindful about this. So even if this isn't the best thing to do for leather, maybe this isn't in the long run gonna make my leather goods last longer or perform better or be happier. Do you know what? I don't care. I think I enjoy doing this for the sake of it. So take from that what you will. So just like the standard TN, I'm feeling like this leather is crying out for more. It's just so dry. So I'm actually giving this, I haven't done the ends yet, but before I do, I'm just giving the whole thing a second coat and just really paying attention to those bits. So can you see how dry that is? So these bits that are just crying out for more. Wow, Look at that. That's what it was like all over before I started. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the, what do you call that, zip pull. And I think I'm actually just going to use my fingers for this because it's so beautiful and sort of a complicated weave pattern. I feel like I want to really get in there in a way that the cloth isn't going to. Yeah, that was a good idea. Look at that. And same on the other side. Still quite a lot of dry patches on here. Giving up on the cloth. Okay. It's a lot darker. Not in a bad way. I do like it. Okay, so here we have the standard Traveller's Notebook. I managed to get some on there, but I think that's all right. I think it's really brought the grain up actually. It looks lovely. And here's the passport. You see that? That's lovely, isn't it? Oh, dog hair. Right, I'm really happy with those. I think what I best do is leave them for a little bit, a couple of hours maybe. Maybe I'm going to add a bit more here. I'm going to leave them for a bit. I'm going to leave it to soak in. I might put another coat on over the course of the evening, and I will come back and show you what they look like when it's all soaked in. I'll see you soon. So here they are all put back together. This is the little passport. I'm really, really pleased with the way this has come up. It's much darker, really supple. It looks lovely. And actually, I took a bit of coconut oil and treated this as well. This is a very different kind of leather, but it has also benefited hugely. It feels lovely. So I'm really pleased the way that one's come up. This is the standard. Now, this feels like it could do with being treated again. So I'm going to give it a few days and then probably give this another coat or 2 or 3. I think now I've seen how this one's responded to being oiled, this might be something that I need to do really quite regularly for this guy until it recovers. I feel like it's still so dry, but it does look awesome. Yeah, I think I've done it a massive favour. The pencil case came out lovely as well. Again, this is still really dry, so it'll probably need to be treated again. But if I can get all these pieces of leather to look as good as this one, I will have succeeded. And it's a massive improvement on all 3 pieces. So it turns out you can definitely use olive oil to condition your leather.